and they did just that. Mark Sears obviously hits the game winner there on the road at Auburn. What about this Alabama team?
I think it speaks a lot. I also say, hey, guys at Auburn, I know you won the SEC, and I know you went out after that game. You better start finding it again, because now you lose and you're going home. I saw the videos. That place looked incredible. The energy was amazing. I would have loved to have been there with you because it looked that much fun. However, you play against Texas A&M, you get beat. You come home, you have senior day, and Alabama gets you on the last second shot. You competed. It was tough. Alabama is Final Four good. However, it's time to kind of reconvene now. And you're going to have one game. You're going to have one game in the SEC tournament where you're going to be able to maybe get your feet wet. But at the same time, ooh, buddy, like, you're going to have to fix it in a hurry.
Well, luckily, Chad Baker-Mazar it happened in this game and not in the tournament again. We don't have to relive that. I'm not worried about it. These are two teams that could very well be in San Antonio. Neither of the three of us would be surprised if they're there. Game went down to the wire, overtime game. I mean, it was as good as advertised. So I'm still not concerned with Auburn, but I do get what T.O.'s saying. It's like, hey guys, let's dial in now. And it's hard because this team has been quickly, in November, we identified Auburn as it. Like, this is the best team in college basketball, and they have been all season long. So they've held up their part. You do worry about that, but the maturity level of this team, what they've been all year, we have way more sample size from Auburn's perspective of what they've been. I'm not worried about them, but I do think, hey, it's time to hit the reset button. They're one of those teams that I'd say they would probably benefit in the SEC tournament if they did go home early and got a chance to, if they can stay on the one line and then get some rest and kind of recoup and then get ready for the tournament, because I think they got bigger issues than worrying about trying to win an SEC championship.
Hey, Baker-Mazara, he gets that flagrant 2, gets ejected. I can't remember what it wasn't with you guys, but I was like, the thing that scares me is Baker-Mazara doing something really crazy in a close game that leads to a 6-point run at a terrible time. Well, this could be a blessing in disguise, the fact that this happened right now.
Right now.
Because now his ears are going to be perked up. I can't act a certain way. Like, now you have to be able to keep your composure, because your team's good enough to where it's like, hey, if he's there and he's that lightning rod but keeps it confined to a point to where he's helping his team as opposed to getting ejected. And coming from a guy who we talked about had been ejected before, so it's like nothing new to me, but like, make sure that he helps his team so much. That's what would worry me about Auburn in the NCAA tournament. If like there's a key juncture in a game and he flies off the handle a little bit, this happening in this one wakes him up a little bit to the potential repercussions and why he needs to be on the floor. So you look at all that. Dagan, I don't know if we have the bracket for the SEC or not, but I'm curious. Here we go. That's even better. Love.
Of course,
that.
we
Great
have
job
the
there.
bracket, Theo.
Absolutely, we do. But Ole Miss, look who they're going to play. They're going to play probably Arkansas or Ole Miss. Really tough team. You need to play good basketball. Like, I think you need to put it together. If you get sent home early, it needs to be after day one, because you go into the NCAA tournament losing 3 in a row, your confidence is wavering a little bit. That first round that they play on day 3, I feel like Auburn needs to generate some type of momentum and get back on track.
Yeah, RC, you bring up such a good point, man, about just the meanings of these conference tournaments. Like, if I'm one of the 4 seeds right now, even if I'm a Michigan State, like, why on earth do I want to play these games?
No,
like
no, it's not. It's not that you don't want to play them. It's not that you don't, but you don't, because it's so many games in so many days. Like, I don't think it'll affect Michigan State in a negative way, because they play 10 guys, right? They play so many guys that they're going to be able to. They would manage it a lot better. But everyone doesn't do that, right? Like, a lot of these teams are coming into this, 7 deep. Most teams have shrunk their rotation, so. That's why I say that. And there's different expectations. Like at Michigan State, they won the regular season. They don't care if they win it's Michigan State. There's national championship banners. They don't care if they win the SEC tournament. Certain schools
Are we
depending,
sure that's the case? Are we sure that's the
no, no,
case?
no,
They
no,
don't
no,
care if they
no, no,
win a
no.
Big Ten
I, don't,
championship.
I think they'll go out and compete because that's in their nature. But what I'm saying is that's a national championship thing. Winning it is great. They won the regular season.
That's right. I mean,
Teams
that's
that
what
have
matters,
national
right? The regular
championships,
season.
No, so it depends on the league. Because in the ACC, you can win a regular season. You're not the ACC champ. It's who wins the tournament. So, like, it just depends that too. Like, freaking Roy Williams started this nonsense. Well, it's just a big old cocktail party where all the boosters and everything. No, Roy, you only say that because you've won a bunch. All these other teams, like, they're going in, they're trying to win the ACC tournament because there's significant reward for doing just that. And not only that,
but
is that
really
rings.
true? You
I
guys
think
don't
there
recognize
is.
Duke as the regular season champion. You don't
That is
recognize them as
that is
ACC.
factually accurate. The ACC does not recognize the regular season champions. They only recognize the tournament champions.
That's crazy.
So last year, the ACC champion was NC State. You're playing all year for seeding.
Yes. And the tournament is where they.
But see, that alone tells you how stupid that is. NC State
See,
is
23-24. To my point, I don't disagree with that. I'm only saying, like, if I'm Auburn, I agree with T.O. You struggled a little bit here lately. You got to get back to winning a game or two. But that they've benefited. They got the double bye. So so again, they win a game or two, they're already in the semis. Just one game,
Sure.
and they were already in the semis. So it's a little different. So their path.
Yeah.
So the benefit of having that double bye. The problem becomes when you start getting down. If you're in the 5th, the 6th, the 17th, when you're in that first row, that second, and you're in, how much energy are you going? But those teams don't have national championship expectations. I don't think anything realistically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only speaking for like Alabama, Auburn, Florida, maybe even a Tennessee. Like, how many challenging of a run do you have, if particularly when you don't have a lot of depth? Do you want to play a lot of that? Does it mean much to you? And some of that is on the kids. I know what the coaches want to do. I know what the school wants, but a lot of times you're just not as motivated for it. I mean, some of these kids are not, and then fatigue comes in. You just
those schools that you're mentioning, they're paying those kids $1 million. They better get motivated.
Everybody, no, I agree, but
like, I don't know.
But if you can't help your resume, you can't help yourself.
10 schools that we talk about that we don't worry about. Some of these other ones we look at. I'm just speaking of the tournament. It's not. You got each school has, like, for some schools, if they look at that list, take away the SEC and take away those 4 teams that we just named. How much massive of a news it would be from those other programs to win the SEC championship. It would be like a team, like I said, like NC State. You take away Duke, a typical year of North Carolina and Louisville, everyone else, that's a celebratory thing. Because, like, use Wake. Wake hadn't won the ACC tournament since 1996. So for them it is. I'm using ACC, like NC State won it a year ago. That's what's so special for them. It doesn't happen all the time with other schools. If it's Duke or it's Carolina, they're like, we hang natties in here. We ain't hanging no ACC championship in here. We want to win it, but that ain't what this is. Certain programs get to that point, and it is a great accomplishment to get that, because realistically, some of these teams, let's be honest, there's going to be 30 teams in this tournament. They have zero chance in hell of making it to San Antonio, let alone winning a national championship. So for some of those schools is what I'm saying. It's beneficial for them that they're winning their conference tournament. And now I'm not talking about the one big league. This is mainly the P4 thing. Getting into the tournament, right, is winning your conference tournament sometimes is a big step for that program, for everything else. It just doesn't happen enough. But for the ones that do it all the time, that has national championship expectations, is not always the best thing to play so many guys and play so many minutes in back-to-back games and then get ready for the NCAA